fourth graders. We're going to be starting a new writing unit talking about personal narratives, so stories about ourselves. When we're writing these stories, we want to make sure that they're focused on something very specific. So not about the time, how long my pet has lived, or about my whole vacation to Disney World, about one specific moment. So we're going to read this story called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And it's about one day in this kid's life. It's not about the whole week or the whole year about how it was bad, just about one day. While I'm reading, I want you to be thinking about what the problem in this story is. And so it's called Alexander and the Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. And it's by Judith Viorst, illustrated by Ray Cruz. I went to sleep with gum in my mouth. And now there's gum in my hair, and when I got out of bed this morning, I tripped on the skateboard, and by mistake I dropped my sweater in the sink while the water was running, and I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At breakfast, Anthony found a Corvette Stingray car in his breakfast cereal box, and Nick found a junior undercover agent code ring in his breakfast cereal box. But in my breakfast cereal box, all I found was breakfast cereal. I think I'll move to Australia. In the carpool, Mrs. Gibson let Becky have a seat by the window. Audrey and Elliot got seats by the window too. I said I was being scrunched. I said I was being smushed. I said if I don't get a car seat by the window, I'm going to be car sick. No one even answered. I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. At school, Mrs. Dickens liked Paul's picture of a sailboat better than my picture of an invisible castle. At singing time, she said I was singing too loud. At counting time, she said I had left out 16. Who needs 16? I could tell it was going to be a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. I could tell because Paul said I wasn't his best friend anymore. He said that Philip Parker was his best friend, and that Albert Moya was his next best friend, and that I was only his third best friend. I hope you sit on a tack, I said to Paul. I hope you get a double-decker strawberry ice cream cone, and the ice cream cone falls off the cone part and lands in Australia. That's not very nice. There were 2 cupcakes in Philip Parker's lunch bag, and Albert got a Hershey bar with almonds, and Paul's mother gave him a piece of jelly roll that had little coconut sprinkles on the top. Guess whose mother forgot dessert? It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. That's what it was, because after school, my mom took us all to the dentist. And Dr. Fields found a cavity just in me. Come back next week and I'll fix it, said Dr. Fields. Next week, I said, I'm moving to Australia. On the way downstairs, the elevator door closed on my foot, and while we were waiting for my mom to get in the car, Anthony made me fall in where it was muddy, and then I started crying because of the mud, and Nick said I was a crybaby. And while I was punching Nick for saying I was crybaby, my mom came back with the car and scolded me for being muddy and fighting. I'm having a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, I told everybody. Nobody even answered. So then we went to the shoe store to buy some new sneakers. Anthony chose white ones with blue stripes. Nick chose red ones with white stripes. I chose blue ones with red stripes, but the shoe man said, we're all sold out. They made me buy plain old white ones, but they can't make me wear them. When we picked up my dad at his office, he said I couldn't play with his copying machine, but I forgot. He also said to watch out for the books on his desk, and I was careful as I could be, except for my elbow. He also said don't fool around with the phone, but I think I caught Australia. My dad said please don't pick him up anymore. It was a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. There were lima beans for dinner, and I hate limas. There was kissing on TV, and I hate kissing. My bath was too hot, I got soap in my eyes, and my marble went down the drain, and I had to wear my railroad train pajamas. I hate my railroad train pajamas. When I went to bed, Nick took back the pillow he said I could keep, and my Mickey Mouse nightlight burned out, and I bit my tongue. The cat wants to sleep with Anthony, not me. It has been a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. My mom says some days are like that. Even in Australia. So that story told us all about Alexander and how he was having a very, very bad day. It focused in just on the one bad day. It didn't say all the bad things that happened in his entire life. He just focused on that one bad day. So when we're thinking about what we might want to write about, we want to make sure we're focusing in on something small. So not writing about the whole trip to Disney World, just writing about one part of it. So today, you are going to answer what is the problem or the conflict in this story. All right? And make sure your answers are in complete sentences. All right? And then the next question, what ideas does this story give you about you could write about? So if I'm thinking about this, I could write about he is not having a very good day. So maybe I could write about a day where I was having a bad day and how I messed up making bread and I couldn't find the ketchup in the refrigerator and all sorts of things, focusing just on that one day. Or I could kind of write about the opposite, like a really great day. So I could talk about the day that I went swimming with sharks, or the day that I climbed a volcano, focusing on something that was really good. So you need to come up with at least one idea today about something that you could write about from your life. So this is going to be personal narrative writing, which means it's personal, it's about you, and narrative means it's a story. So we'll be writing stories about ourselves. I'll be writing one along with you. Make sure you answer the questions about the conflict in the story and also what ideas you might have that you could write about. If you have any questions, just let your teacher know.